Now, in this story, the resignation of the Inspector General of Police has once again placed the spotlight on leadership stability within the Nigerian police force. With Kayode Egbetokun stepping aside, expectations are already mounting around the appointment of his successor, who now inherits old structural challenges and fresh public scrutiny.
Police leadership transitions in Nigeria are rarely just administrative. They carry political weight and public consequence. Rising insecurity, public distrust, and reform promises remain unresolved. Now attention turns to how the new leadership intends to balance operational effectiveness with genuine institutional reforms. So to examine this shift, we are joined by Kingsley Obom-Egbulem here, Egbulem, I beg your pardon, here in the studio. He's a social entrepreneur, and also Gbenga Ademujimi, a human design systems coach. We were supposed to have Moyele on with us, but at the last moment he had to pull out because of other circumstances. But gentlemen, you're welcome. Thank you very much for being here with us. Good to have you guys.
Pleasure, always to be here.
Great. Kingsley, let's start with you in the studio here. Since you took time to join us in the studio, and Gbenga wants to be on Zoom, so Gbenga, I'll come to you next. Yeah. But Kingsley, now when you heard about the resignation of the IG, what came to mind? What came to mind based on the fact that we know that there has been so much talk about his tenure and the fact that he shouldn't have been there in the first place, and the reforms that had to happen in the House for him to remain there, only to have him cut short yet again before the end of that arrangement. Yeah. What did you think about this zigzagness?
Well, it's the usual Nigeria thing. I'm not surprised. But I also believe, knowing Disu up close, he's good. He's exceptional, and he has a lot of history working for him. And some of the things he did in Lagos, we still have them around. The Rapid Response Squad, is it? Yeah. RRS, they still model what an ideal police should be. Okay. But how do you translate that into the entire country? That's a problem. I don't know whether he's got capacity to navigate through the political dynamics of Nigeria. Somebody was saying we had a town, is it a town hall?
Town hall?
Different from...
Balablu.
Yeah. On Thursday here.
Inam is lost. She's South African.
Lost. I know Balablu.
Oh, okay. We'll bring you up to speed. Up to speed, rather. So we have the town hall here on Thursday. And somebody said policing in the north is not the same as policing in the south. And what it takes to prevent crime in the north is different from what it takes to prevent crime here. And I'm sure he's referring to civil crimes, not insurgency that they're dealing with right now. So I don't know how Disu intends to fly above that delicate, balancing. But on the strength of what he's done in Lagos, I think we have hope. But now, we still have some issues that are not yet resolved, which is, and that's the big deal for me, the number of police officers that will leave the force.
Have to retire.
Because of Disu's appointment.
Yes, exactly.
I think for the first time, we need to stop these guys from leaving. We need to do something to make the police change its tradition, to see you can have a senior officer who is competent, and you shouldn't have problems working with him. I don't think
Kingsley, good that you noted that. We're going to come back to that in the latter part of this conversation. But I just wanted to note something that you said, that Disu had worked here in Lagos before under Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
No, not under Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
But definitely here in Lagos.
Yeah, he worked under Ambode and
yes.
Later date of the last phase of Fashola's.
So I want us to note that and how it works into the dynamics here with the relationship between Lagos State and himself, and the presidency and Lagos State, by extension the presidency and the new IG. Right. But we'll come to that. I'm sorry.
Gbenga, I'd like to come to you. Thank you again for joining us. Based on some of the remarks that Kingsley has made, this also speaks to public trust. What can you say about the public trust when it comes to policing and rebuilding that? What does rebuilding that look like?
Okay, thank you very much, New Central. Thank you, Kingsley, for that analysis, and I so much support you. But guess what? That trust that is bankrupt already. That trust we are talking about there is bankruptcy. Do you understand? You see, there's something you call EBA, emotional bank account. Also, you have trust bank account, TBA. The trust bank account of Nigerians and their friends or our friends, police, as I speak to you, maybe we can find 1 naira or 10 naira there because of their behavior, their attitude, their lifestyle, you know. So we cannot say, that trust is there. That's my response to that. Now, in rebuilding that trust, IGP Tunji Disu needs to walk extra mile this time. His antecedents, his success stories, his breaking of barriers in Lagos State is undeniable. I'm one of the people who worked with him from the outside as a coach to renew the mindset of our police officers in 2016 and some years after, you know. You see a man who wants things to work, IGP Tunji Disu. You see a man who is professional. You see a man who is patriotic, loyal to his state and to his people and to his country. However, Kingsley said, and I'm going to repeat, police and policing in the southern part of Nigeria is a different ball game from police and policing in the northern part of Nigeria. How he is going to navigate and paddle his boat in the oceans of politicians. How he's going to navigate and fly his aircraft above the politics and the corruption of the big wigs of the country. These are the challenges in front of
Gbenga, I see where you're going here, and I want us to get to that fun bit real quick. So I'm going to ask this question. Why do you think the former IG was retired? Do you think it was based on performance? And when I say performance, let's put that in quote, because we have the elections coming, and if an entire reform had to be had to keep him in office, what happened thereby necessitating him being removed before the end of that tenure? Is it that his performance before the 2027 elections has come into question, or is it just reform here? What do you think, Gbenga?
For me, it is reform. For me, it's reform. Trust me. You see, there's something I noticed about Mr. President. He is taking the reformations of different sectors step by step without making noise, without announcing it that this is what I want to do. That's what I'm observing. That's what I'm seeing here. IGP Kayode, former IGP Kayode Egbetokun, resigned according to his statement based on family issues. But you and I know that is one of our problems in Nigeria. We cover up things for public officers. Listen, I can cover my track because I'm not a public officer. I am not a civil servant. But as long as you swear that oath, hey, you have nothing to hide again about your private and public life. So we all know that that's a cover-up. In Yoruba land, they will say, when mouth don't do too much for your body, go inside, go sleep. My observation is that mouth too much for our Oga, former Oga, mouth too much for him body. Is it from our policemen embarrassing us in front of Mazino, you know what I'm talking about. One of our bikers came in, one of our colleagues outside Nigeria rode into Nigeria, and our officers were begging for dollar. They were asking for money. Police is a reflection of the people, of the community.
I find this very interesting, Gbenga, and Kingsley here in the studio actually had a snigger when you said something. You're going to explain what that was. But the point is this: when it comes to the when it comes to the switch in police and police authority, we often want to take a look at it from two angles. It's about the people and their security, but then there are other nuances to this. When you put in the dynamics of the elections and how involved the police is when it comes to elections, the police are proximate to elections, whether you like it or not. So is this for the national good regarding security, or is it actually based on, you know, looking forward at 2027 elections and the security implications of that? I don't know if you agree with me, Kingsley, or if you have anything you'd like to say regarding that. Inam, I'm sorry, I know you had a question,
it's
but
okay.
I had to.
For a long time, our police has remained a tool, has been a tool in the hands of political bigwigs. If you need to crush your opponents, you use the police. If you need to crush uprising, whether it's a peaceful protest, civil disobedience, you use the police. If you want to, is it debt collection now? You want somebody's owing you money, and you want to collect the money, use the police. If you're traveling from one part of the country to another and you don't want anybody to stop you at the checkpoint, you use the police. If you have a property and you don't want people going into the property, you use the police. So we have a police that has been so messed and decimated. We have a police that has no iota of dignity. So they are at the ground level. IGP or acting IGP Tunji Disu read mass communication, first degree and second degree. And he has comported himself as somebody who uses the instrumentality of communication to police. And he's done well in Lagos State. Now, while Gbenga was talking, I did the math, and I realized Lagos is actually 5-6 states put together. Perhaps the president wants to make a statement. I want to be cautious and optimistic that he wants to make a difference, and using IGP Tunji Disu's experience, he wants to leverage that experience to make a statement. But those of us who have been dealing with the police has become a mirror. When we look into this mirror, we don't like what we see.
Right.
We feel offended because this mirror also is showing us who we are. The man who wants to oppress Mazino using the police, is he as decent or crooked as the police? Of course, he's a crooked person. And so he needs the police to express that crookedness. Do you get? So what I want us to get to is for Disu to make a statement and tell himself that, look, I'm not going to be here for long. I want to leave something behind such that when my name is mentioned, people will say, I did this, I did this, I did this. I think that's where we are now. It's a level of hope. And somebody say hope is not a strategy, but that's where we are now.
Right. Kingsley, piggybacking on what you've just said, with the statement that Disu needs to make, what do you think his first 100 days in office should look like? What should he prioritize?
What reforms should we be looking forward to?
Okay. So let me put myself in his shoes, and that will help me. I want to empower Nigerians to express a subtle outrage against police misconduct.
Outrage?
Yes. I want to empower Nigerians. I want to say, please, if you find yourself headbutting the police and you feel you have been wronged, please report. And I will use those reports as an example to let Nigerians know that this is your police. What you allow is what you're going to get. That is what I'm going to do. And then I will empower the state governors. Now, do you know, Mazino, I don't know if you know this. Have you ever heard any state governor calling out the police?
I'm checking my memory.
You will do that till maybe next month. I haven't heard a case where a governor is addressing his people and he's telling the police, please don't abuse my people. Don't abuse their rights.
Why is this so?
Because they work in tandem. The governors use the police, and the police and they end up settling the police. Now, you know, we have this state police trust fund. It is meant to become it's meant to be a supplementary funding for the police. But when a governor is giving you patrol vehicles, would you want to go against the governor? No. So I would want governors to call out their police commissioners. So this is what I'm going to do. So when a governor is telling the commissioner and his police, your IGP has empowered me, and he's saying that if any of my men misbehaves, I am going to call him out. And the IGP will do something. So that way, you have taken over a large territory. You've empowered the community to checkmate the police. And then you can now go about the other reforms you want to do. The moment you arm the community to police those who are policing them, we have a kind of peer review mechanism where I'm not going to mess up. You cannot use me to settle scores. Do you understand? And I can easily say, hey, this is against the law. I don't care who you are. So we haven't gotten to that point where everybody feels helpless when it comes to the police. We feel so small when it comes to the police. Despite the way they carry themselves, we are not able. Do you know? I'll just close on this. I was driving through Otedola. You know, I live in that axis. So these guys were stopping people, and there was this traffic that was building up. They didn't give a damn. So it got to my turn. I said, sir, are you aware that there's a traffic build up here? The people you want to check, can you park them? Take your time to check them. The guy said, get out, don't teach me my work. I said, this is not your work.
It's ours.
It's our work. I want you to succeed. If you succeed, I'll be fine. Do you understand? I said, so it doesn't require complicated intelligence to park the guy you're checking so that the traffic keeps moving. Now you're stopping this guy. You're not even sure what you want to do with him. And there's so much vehicles waiting for you to finish with the guy. And guess what happened eventually? He just had a fist bump with the guy and
let you go.
That's very interesting, actually. Gbenga, I'd like to come to you. We're looking at first 100 days. We're looking at reforms, and we're looking at what we call the police being friends of the government, and I say friends of the people. And I say this because it was this week, Mazino, was it not, that we also had the Lagos Police Commissioner, Moshood Jimo, who was also at News Central, talking about what it is for the police to be friends of the people. What would you say needs to be prioritized in terms of reforms and first 100 days?
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to take it from where Kingsley stopped. Yes, CP Jimo said it when we were together a few days ago, that police is not just our friends, but police is our partners now. So we are happy to hear that.
We are the boss.
Now, yes, we are the boss.
That's the word
our servants. Now, the next thing is rebranding of the mind of the police and their physical appearance. The branding of their mind re-engineering. There must be a reorientation to these people. It is very key. Number two, reputational management. Reputational management must be taken seriously because the reputation of Nigerian police is not there. They don't have one. You will see the wide difference between the corporate police officers, the graduates who are in the offices, who sit inside the AC. You will see a clear difference between them and the ones on the road. Culture change. Culture change. The culture of police in Nigeria is bad. You see a 5-year-old girl, a 7-year-old boy asking them about Nigerian police, they will tell you, I want to be collecting 50 naira. So when you ask a teenager, when you ask a child in Nigeria, what is the culture of the police? Collecting of money on the road. More police must be recruited. More police must be recruited, especially graduates. When we go to other countries, we see them on the road. Graduates should be on the road. We don't want miscreants. We don't want thugs as our police again. It's sad. Yesterday, on my way out of Lagos, a police stopped me, checked all the papers, everything completed, and he was still asking me for a CMR that is in front of him. He was holding. He said, "Where is your CMR?" I said, "Oga, it's in your hand. Allocation of plate number." I said, "This is it. You will see a police officer, you will give them a paper, they will turn it upside down." What are we talking about?
I mean, that's the educational side. Is
Change their pay, not just increase, change their pay. What you are paying police, what Nigerian government is paying police is an insult upon their destiny. Is an insult upon their destiny. And how do someone work for 30, 35 years, and at the end of the day, you are paying 2.5 billion naira as his take home? Is an insult. And lastly,
Gbenga,
state police must be created. State police creation.
Yeah, but
we cannot run.
These are not within his
all right,
capacity.
Gbenga, we're going to take a break now,
days.
Gbenga, and when we come back, we're going to continue with this conversation. But just before we do that, there is information which we brought to you as we started the show today. But there is new information now that U.S. and Israel have launched attacks on Iran. As Trump says, major combat operations are underway. So once again, you heard it here, U.S. and Israel have launched attacks on Iran. We will look at the details when we come back from this short break. Do stay with us. We're still on this conversation. This is Breakfast Extra. Welcome back. And now let's continue our story from before. We were talking about the new IG, or rather the replacement of the old IG, Kayode Egbetokun, the implications and what it means for Nigeria, especially as we continue to look towards 2027, what the architectures in place will mean for the elections turnout. And, well, we still have in the studio with us here, Kingsley Ebelum is still with us. We also have Mr. Gbenga online, but I think we might need to reconnect on that one. Kingsley, so let's continue this conversation here. We're talking about reform, whether this means real reform. There are two ways to look at this, and I mentioned that before we went on the break regarding the political nature we're driving toward now, and real reform, which everybody has been asking for when it comes to the police. Gbenga was on the verge of touching on something regarding how the police, you know, what's the word now? How they communicate.
How they go about their policing.
Yeah, exactly. How they go about their policing. There's so much talk about state police in the past couple of years. Do you think that this would be, now that we have the new IG, Disu coming in, this would be the right time to start talking about state policing, using the police architecture to actually communicate with cultures, communities, one-on-one? Do you think this is the best time for community police conversation? Well,
we can keep. I mean, we've been having that conversation, but it's not within the terms of reference of the IGP to move that to move discussions on that issue. It is it's a legislative issue. It is something that the National Assembly would need to sit down and discuss with Nigerians and say, okay, finally we need to move this forward. But the new IGP, you know, Gbenga was talking about pay, conditions of service, and all of that. There are things outside his control. But what I think are within his control is that of rebuilding the damaged image of the police. He needs to, as a matter of urgency, do that.
So what would the common Nigerian see in the ordinary police that will make him believe that there's reform happening that has changed that image?
The civility.
Civility.
It begins with how you engage.
Okay. And we can liken this civility we're looking for to what other authority? Does the army have it? Do the Navy have it? Should our police act?
We shouldn't. If we have a decent functioning police, we shouldn't be seeing the army on a daily basis. We shouldn't be engaging with the army. The army is not trained to relate with a civil
internal security.
Yes, it is regional security, border control, and all of that stuff. If we have our police working, we shouldn't be. I mean, there are countries you go to, you hardly find the army. You don't see them. But here, because we keep bringing them out to settle scores, because we have discountenance the police. So you know, but and the army comes in, you see the police officers all shouldering. You should not have a police officer and a military officer coming head to head. But we do that here. Okay. So I think one of the things this man, Disu needs to do, and he's done it in Lagos, is to redraft the rules of engagement between the police and civil society. Okay. And what is that? Respect the people you're policing, and they will in turn respect you. It's as simple as that. And then, Mazino, you walk into a police station, what do you expect? What do you want? What did the person do? You see, this tug, this bus conductor, garage attitude, we can checkmate that. And what do you need to do? Start to retrain and retrain and retrain. Like Gbenga was talking, I talked about the power of capacity building. When you move people back to the classroom and you bring them back to society, they become a different people. So in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't know how long he's going to stay, he needs to invest in capacity building. The man who doesn't have oranges cannot make apple juice for you. So take them back to where you brought them from, rework the curriculum, and then start to train them. If you spend the next 1 year, I'm sure you can achieve that. And then start to advocate, because that is also within his power. While you may not increase the pay of the police, you can start advocating for a better pay.
Definitely the recruiting process is something that has to be looked at.
I think we have Gbenga. Gbenga is back with us.
Gbenga back, yes.
Gbenga, let's take a look now at the fact that Disu has been sworn in officially, but this means forced retirements, if I can say, or not the word demotions, rather, Mazino.
Yeah. Forced retirement.
Forced retirements for his seniors. Yeah. What can we make of this? Does this strategy work in Nigeria right now, or is there a way in which we can restructure this? But just enlighten us a bit on these forced retirements that are non-negotiables at this point.
Okay, for me, like Kingsley said the other time, that I don't think it's a problem for junior officers to work with senior officers. I don't think it's a problem. What we are looking for is competence. You know, that's what we are looking for. We are looking for competence, we are looking for character, we are looking for commitment. Do you understand? So for me, our government, maybe through National Assembly, I don't know how they want to handle that, we should have a structure that will not ridicule anyone and that will not elevate somebody above normal. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. That you follow the due process, you know, that this person, this is where you belong. And on a certain stage, this is where you belong. So by that, there is no confusion. Because what we have most of the time when this kind of thing happen is confusion. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Most of the time, what we have is confusion. You know, but when we have this structure on ground, there will not be confusion at all. That's my take.
Okay, then. Well, I also wanted to know what your take was regarding the elections are coming, but we have run out of time, Gbenga, so we're going to end that conversation here. And thank you very much, Gbenga, for joining us via Zoom, and thank you very much, Kingsley, for coming in
for inviting me.
The studio appearance here. We really appreciate that. We'll continue to see how this goes, and hopefully we look forward to a proper Nigerian police where everybody can tell reform has taken place with the addition of a new IG. Well, we continue to hope and